great job. The second co-valedictorian is Jared Calihan. Jared is the son of Ken and Anna Calihan, and he also has a weighted grade point average of 5.46. Jared's honors and awards are an AP Scholar Award, AP Chemistry Award, National Honor Society of High School Scholars, and All Academic Bowling Award. His school clubs and activities include jazz band, marching band, pep band, varsity bowling, student council, National Honor Society, where he was the president, and Jewett's Do It Club. Jared's volunteer experience includes he's a volunteer for the Friends of the Lane Library used book sale, and he served as a pre-algebra, geometry, and biology tutor, and also as an election day poll worker. Jared will attend Miami University in Oxford and double major in chemistry and business. Please join me in welcoming our co-valedictorian, Jared Calihans.
So before I start my actual speech, I want to say thank you to everybody who has helped to get me where I am today. I want to thank all of my teachers from Monroe, Garfield, the freshman building, and Hamilton High. I would also like to thank all of the administrators and everyone else who keeps this district running smoothly. Most importantly, I want to thank my parents. Now, when I wrote my first draft of this speech, they asked me, they said, "You thank us, right?" And I said, "No." That was the wrong answer. So I wanted to make sure they got their shout out. And for everybody else, if you haven't thanked your parents today, you should probably do that at some point. All right, so now on to the actual speech. So I was racking my brain trying to think of something memorable from my school career to talk about today that everyone could relate to. At the end of all that brainstorming, I decided to talk about nicknames. And that worked out really well because I didn't know she was going to do this. But Natalie told us that Mr. Lice is also known as Dougie Fresh, so there we go. Nicknames are just a part of this high school. But out of all the fond memories that I'll carry with me into the future, I'm fairly certain that nicknames are what I'm going to remember the most. I mean, most of the classmates have been given nicknames. We already heard about Dougie Fresh, but there's Darth Tedious, KK, Grumble Bunny, a bunch of others, and even Mr. Frost answers to Gatsby every now and then. I hope he's here to hear that. So I think it's safe to say that this is a topic we can all relate to. I really had two main nicknames in school. The first one is pretty generic. It's Calihan. Almost everybody I know addresses me by my last name. The second nickname is a little less typical, but I'd say it certainly speaks to how people perceive me. It's Sith Lord. For anyone who's familiar with Star Wars, you know that name's probably not a compliment. And if you haven't seen Star Wars, I think you can still assume that that's not exactly a positive name. Now, I don't think my classmates actually think that I'm trying to take over the galaxy, because one, that would be really, really hard, and two, I'm not, mostly. But I've always felt that the nickname stems from my bluntness combined with an almost painful realism that I tend to have. Now, always being realistic and never being afraid to say what you want when you want probably isn't always the best combination. But staying true to form, I plan to live up to my reputation in this speech. So far, we've heard a lot about new paths in the future. So my goal with this speech is to offer some realistic advice that will hopefully aid each of us in choosing the right path and never losing sight of our convictions. As our senior year progressed, everything was supposed to fall into place. We all had hopes and dreams and ideas of what the future would hold, but we were finally going to know just what our lives would be after high school. I'm sure that most of you see me standing up here as valedictorian, and you assume that everything kind of just fell into place for me, aside from some grueling homework, and a few too many sleepless nights. As much as I would like that to be true, it's really not. Senior year was kind of difficult for me. Not so much the academic part, but that whole after high school part. Yeah, that was not what I expected at all. For my entire high school career, I thought that I was somebody special, you know? I just knew that I was destined to go to some Ivy League school and have this tremendous life filled with nothing but greatness. I also felt that if I tried my best and worked my hardest, that this would have to become reality. I mean, there'd be no other option, right? Let's just say I was wrong. I got rejected by Harvard, Yale, and Northwestern, and I was waitlisted by the University of Chicago and Vanderbilt. I was only accepted by 2 schools that I had previously sworn I would never attend, because remember, I was just so sure of how everything was going to work out. And after saying that, I hope there's nobody here from Miami to revoke my acceptance. Trust me, it was greatly appreciated amongst all of the no letters. Anyways, everything that I'd been working for and planning for kind of started to fall apart a little. I really questioned what I had to show for all of my efforts. Were the sleepless nights really worth it in the end? Most days I was a little bit sad on the inside, and I think my parents could attest that that made me a little bit snippy and short-tempered at home. Sorry. It took a lot of time, but eventually I realized that I was the same determined person I'd always been. I realized that I was going to be fine. Now, the reason that I wanted to share this with everybody here tonight is because oftentimes we do forget that everybody does have their own struggles that they have to deal with. Now, don't think that I'm up here looking for pity, you know, poor little valedictorian didn't get into an Ivy League school, because that's not it at all. Trust me, I know that I would get no pity for that. Simply stated, I was chosen to give a speech and to be an example. So I wanted to show everybody that it's okay for things to fall apart, as long as when it's all said and done, you push forward and work harder and refuse to let the bad and the negative define your life. And that's my realistic advice. For most of us, the expectations we have for our lives probably won't come to fruition, but we have to push forward, because if we do, we can find an even better life that we never expected. There's a really great quote that I think sums this up, so I'm going to go ahead and say that now. We all think we're going to be great, and we feel a little bit robbed when our expectations aren't met. But sometimes our expectations sell us short. Sometimes the expected simply pales in comparison to the unexpected. You have to wonder why we cling to our expectations. It's because the expected is just what keeps us steady and still. The expected, though, is just the beginning. The unexpected is what changes our lives. Yeah, I thought that worked nicely into my speech. I'm pretty proud of myself for finding it. So through everything that's happened this year, I finally learned that I'm going to be okay no matter what, and that I need to embrace the unexpected, which is exactly why I am thrilled to be attending Miami this fall. I also know that moving forward with whatever life holds for this graduating class, every single person will always be okay as long as they remember who they are, as long as they push forward through the bad and through all of life's disappointments, and as long as they learn to embrace the unexpected. Thank you all, and best of luck to everyone in all of your future endeavors.
Great job, Jared, and wonderful advice for all of us. And now our salutatorian, Christian